Ladies and gentlemen, a new battle line is being drawn, and the prize to be won is none other than Kalonzo Musyoka. This time round, it is not against William Ruto versus the united opposition. It is RIGATHI Gachagua against Uhuru Kenyatta to secure Kalonzo Musyoka as their partner or their presidential candidate in the 2027 general election. According to an article that has been revealed, the united opposition appears to be showing cracks after a Monday meeting at the SKM Center in Karen that ended with a joint press statement. Two key figures were conspicuously missing, Fred Matiang'i and Martha Karua. They skipped the high-profile gathering, fueling renewed whispers of division within the coalition. Insiders whisper that Dr. Matiang'i was in Doha, where he is said to have held discreet talks with President William Ruto, a move that has set tongues waging up about a possible deal in the works. Martha Karua, meanwhile, was in Bondo with Charity Ngilu to avoid joining the larger opposition entry that planned to visit Bondo today on Thursday. Observers now point to growing unease within the coalition, with some senior members quietly aligning themselves for new political realities ahead of the 2027. Whether these signals are a reshuffle of loyalties or a mere test of unity, it remains to be seen. According to a statement that we are currently reviewing, insiders claim Uhuru's camp is quietly reorganizing under Matiang'i, Ngilu, Munya, Peter Munya, and Eugene Wamalwa. Kalonzo's silence betrays uncertainty as he clings to RIGATHI, an alliance that is both gaining traction all over the country. Now, getting down to analyzing, it seems that Uhuru Kenyatta does not believe in Matiang'i as we thought he did, because he has currently reviewed the analytics and how the dynamics of the politics of the Republic of Kenya are playing out. Yes, it is evident that the Jubilee Party recently announced Matiang'i as their presidential candidate and also the deputy party leader of the Jubilee Party. But that was a move that Uhuru Kenyatta wanted to secure a spot for Matiang'i within the united opposition. But he knows one thing: Matiang'i cannot actually win the presidential flag bearer's role against Kalonzo Musyoka within the united opposition. So the thing that Uhuru Kenyatta is pulling is to try and actually win Kalonzo Musyoka on his side, to actually make Kalonzo Musyoka not swear his allegiance to RIGATHI Gachagua, which is something that actually Kalonzo Musyoka seems to be very reluctant about. And he seems to believe that RIGATHI Gachagua is the man to deliver him the Mount Kenya votes come the year 2027. The reason I'm telling you this: Uhuru Kenyatta, recently you all realized that the man is actually aligning himself as the kingmaker of the 2027 general election. It is not out of the blues that Uhuru Kenyatta publicly embraced Kalonzo Musyoka during Raila Amolo Odinga's state burial at Nyayo Stadium. It was a message that he was sending out. Me and Kalonzo Musyoka are cool, and me and Kalonzo Musyoka are tight. That is something that even you saw sending chills in the government of President William Ruto, where you saw people like Farouk Kibet and Gladys Wanga declaring war and starting attacking the former president. But this is the deal. Uhuru, yes, he has Matiang'i on his side, but he does not want Matiang'i to be under Kalonzo Musyoka. And Matiang'i being under Kalonzo Musyoka, that means he is not the decision maker within the government that is to be formed in the year 2027. With RIGATHI Gachagua being the man backing Kalonzo Musyoka and being in control of everything that is currently happening within the united opposition. Uhuru is scared that Kalonzo Musyoka will be under the finger of one Rigathi Gachagua. And if he's under Rigathi Gachagua, then he will follow what Rigathi Gachagua tells him to do once they forms the government. And that is why he is secretly making moves to bring Kalonzo Musyoka on his side so that Rigathi Gachagua might lose it, to make sure that Gachagua does not have overall control over Kalonzo Musyoka. Because as you know, there are certain things that play out in politics. Kingmakers are said to be there. They are said to remain there. Speaking in an interview with NTV, the Secretary General of Jubilee, Jeremiah Kioni, stated something that actually points out at these dynamics. He said that Jubilee is the largest party currently within the Azimio la Umoja coalition that was signed because ODM left. The second party is Wiper. But looking at the dynamics, Wiper still has the largest say over Jubilee within Azimio coalition. And that is why Uhuru Kenyatta still maintained that Azimio la Umoja still remains at Jubilee is under Azimio la Umoja. But one thing is clear though, the Azimio la Umoja died the moment Raila Amolo Odinga walked out. And the moment Kalonzo Musyoka declared Wiper is out of Azimio la Umoja. Now, one thing for sure, Uhuru is doing everything in his power to secure Kalonzo Musyoka on his side. Not to make sure that he divides the united opposition. His major goal is to actually make offers to Kalonzo Musyoka that he will fund his campaign. And for that, Kalonzo Musyoka will be in debt to Uhuru Kenyatta. And that will actually rule out the fact of Gachagua controlling controlling Kalonzo in the united opposition. But Kalonzo, looking at everything playing out, he is ready to continue working with Rigathi Gachagua, even if it means losing the financial muscles of Uhuru Kenyatta on his side come the year 2027. One thing, Kalonzo believes in Rigathi Gachagua. The other thing, Matiangi has a chance of becoming the deputy presidential candidate. And if he doesn't become the deputy presidential candidate, he will end up being what? He will end up being a prime minister in the government to be formed. And that is why, to prove to Kalonzo that Uhuru Kenyatta has everything in control, that is why he is currently consolidating the certain leaders within the Mount Kenya region and within the country to back Fred Matiangi, to make sure that Matiangi has a say in the united opposition table come the time for decision making, and to ensure that Kalonzo Musyoka sees the value that Uhuru Kenyatta can offer so that he can actually swear allegiance to Uhuru Kenyatta. That is why Uhuru is currently mobilizing Peter Munya, the former governor of Meru, Charity Ngilu, as one of the Kamba leaders. There is Eugene Wamalwa, and another leader is also in play. And he is looking to consolidate me. You know, these leaders actually have a say in the Mount Kenya region, in the Ukambani region, and other regions all over the country, including the western region parts of Kenya. So that will make sure that Matiangi actually also has a say, and that it's actually now for Kalonzo to decide. Do you want to remain loyal to Rigathi Gachagua, or do you want to change sides and join us on the other side, which is the Jubilee side or the Uhuru Kenyatta side? Ladies and gentlemen, I would love to know your take on regards to this matter, or what you think will unfold, or what decision Kalonzo will make. But generally, it seems that Kalonzo is bedding towards believing in Rigathi Gachagua. I want to know your take. Leave a comment on the comment section. Make sure you subscribe. See you in our next video. This is the Kenyan Daily Report.